Welcome to the Pontefract Castle Geophysics project, as funded by the Castle Studies Trust. We're here just outside the Queen's Tower, which is one of the areas that we'll be looking at as part of this project. Here, we hope to uncover the remains of three periods from the castle's history. Most recently, the remains of a Victorian path system that allowed visitors to explore the site. Slightly further back in time, some Civil War activity. The tower itself to my side is pockmarked with evidence of that, but is there any more evidence below the ground? And finally, the potential remains of a late medieval garden feature positioned beneath the tower. We'll now head elsewhere on site and have a look at what else we might uncover whilst we're doing this project. I've now arrived at the Swillington Tower. The survey starts just to the right of you there and continues around to the Queen's Tower where we've just come from. The reason we've started it here is the Swillington Tower is quite an unusual tower. It's detached from the main curtain wall, which ran where the flagpole is at the top of the banking there. It was probably linked to that curtain wall by this feature here, a linking wall. What survives of it? How far that way does it continue? And are there any other interesting features about it that we may want to look at on another occasion? Hopefully, this survey will answer those questions. So here they are. This is Wessex Archaeology laying out their grid. So for all of the survey techniques, and to make sure we know exactly where they're surveying and that the patterns from the different techniques can be matched up, they have a grid laid out. So the first area to be surveyed is the top area, and there is the magnetometry device, and they're just preparing the ground penetrating radar right now, so that'll be happening shortly. So I don't know if you can see on the video that there's a series of plant canes in a row. I'll just come close to this one and duck down, and the other one is over by that bench next to the bin, and that marks the southernmost end of the survey area, and the northernmost end is as close as they get to Swillington Tower. Here we have the techniques that they're going to be using. This is ground penetrating radar. Both ground penetrating radar and magnetometry involve passing a device over the ground, in this case on wheels, and measuring the signal that returns. The radar device measures how long it takes that signal to return, with the signal bouncing off hard objects and not off softer objects. So buried stone would return the signal, and soil doesn't return the signal. So it tells us how far down the buried bedrock or walls may be. This technique, however, isn't suitable for use on rough terrain, so we won't be using it down on the Outer Bailey, because as you can see, the ground is quite bumpy here. Instead here we'll be using magnetometry and resistivity. This is a resistivity meter, and it involves placing 4 probes into the ground and measuring how much of an electrical signal returns to them from a base point, which is what the wire is connected to. How much tells us how damp the soil is, and that in turn suggests features like buried walls, which don't hold the water so well, perhaps where there's been fire damage, or other compaction, like paths and garden features. Because the probes are placed into the ground every metre, every now and then an adjustment has to be made when you skip over something like a tree. And so that's a quick introduction to the 3 techniques used here at Pontefract Castle.